Right, this is a short introduction to the power of emotional intelligence. You'll see in the graphic there, IQ is just the little tip of the iceberg. Underneath, the water level is emotional intelligence. It's the bigger part of your future success. In this short video, I'll explain why emotional intelligence is so important to coaching, what we mean by emotional intelligence, and how you can go about improving your emotional intelligence. I think 20 years ago, somebody suggested that I read this book, and it just opened my mind. Goleman had actually put together something that was accessible to everyone based on the research that had been done. And in these words, if your emotional abilities aren't in hand, if you don't have self-awareness, if you're not able to manage your distressing emotions, if you can't have empathy and have a relationship, effective relationship with others, then no matter how smart you are not going to get very far. Powerful words. Sir John Whitmore says, I believe that emotional intelligence and coaching are inseparable. In fact, that emotional intelligent people tend to behave in a coaching way even if they have not attended a coaching course. So the more you improve your emotional intelligence, the better the natural coach you will be. So a few definitions. Great website, Mind Tools. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize your emotions, understand what they are telling you, and realize how your emotions affect people around you. Emotional intelligence also involves your perception of others. When you understand how they feel, this allows you to manage relationships more effectively. Why emotional intelligence is actually so important. Emotional intelligence is a much more powerful way of determining future leaders. I mean, there's 20 years of supporting this. IQ is the threshold competence. That's what gets you into your job. But it's the emotional intelligence that will make you a star. What sets star performers apart from average performers aren't the technical skills or high IQ, but good communication and people skills. IQ is largely what we're given, whereas emotional intelligence can be developed and will continue to grow through your careers. And as you age, you will develop your emotional intelligence. Fantastic talk. Simon Sinek, How Great Leaders Inspire Action. I'm doing this video in August. You can see over 23 million people have watched this, and it's well worth watching. He introduces people to the golden circle. And he says great leaders start with the why. And this is where the passion comes through. This is the emotion. The why feeds into the how. So the why is the inspiring vision. The how is perhaps the values that will go with the way you do things. Then finally, the what. But what this is actually saying, great leaders work with emotion. And it's the emotion that actually gets followers, gets people sort of following. So it's an incredibly important thing in terms of emphasizing how important emotion is. I've done a lot of work with teams, and over the years, the model that I've developed is basically working on the head, the hands, the heart, and the energy. When team understands why, when they understand how, but when they feel they're part of it, and when they believe passionately. And the first two, the head and the hands, are pretty much left brain. The heart and the energy is pretty much right brain, and it's emotion. And so often the thing that differentiates a great team from an ordinary team is emotion. It's this heart, this thumping heart. I belong. I feel loyal. It's a wonderful place to be. There's passion. I feel like I give all of my energy to the team. That's what differentiates the team. So emotion is just so important in terms of performance in just about every area you look at. Okay, let's get into the what. So these are the sort of 5 areas that Goleman has identified. Self-awareness. People with high emotional intelligence are usually very self-aware. They understand their emotions, and because of this, they don't let their feelings rule them. They're confident because they trust their intuition and don't let the emotions get out of control. They're also willing to take an honest look at themselves. They know their strengths and weaknesses, and they work on these areas so that they can perform better. Many people believe that this self-awareness is the most important part of emotional intelligence. Self-regulation. This is the ability to control emotions and impulses. People who self-regulate typically don't allow themselves to become too angry or jealous, and they don't make impulsive and careless decisions. They think before they act. Characteristics of self-regulation are thoughtfulness, comfort with change, integrity, and the ability to say no. Motivation. People with a high degree of emotional intelligence are usually motivated. They're willing to defer immediate results for long-term success. They're highly productive, love a challenge, and are very effective in whatever they do. Empathy. This is perhaps the second most important element of emotional intelligence. Empathy is the ability to identify with and understand the wants, needs, and viewpoints of those around you. People with empathy are good at recognizing the feelings of others, even when those feelings may not be obvious. As a result, empathetic people are usually excellent at managing relationships, listening and relating to others. They avoid stereotyping and judging too quickly, and they live their lives in a very open and honest way. Social skills. It's usually easy to talk to and like people with good social skills, another sign of high emotional intelligence. Those with strong social skills are typically team players. Rather than focus on their own success first, they help others develop and shine. They can manage disputes, are excellent communicators, and are masters at building and maintaining relationships. Right, so how do you improve? And the starting point is assess your emotional intelligence. Within the coaching program, you will get a self-assessment and you will be assessed by others, and you'll have the opportunity to compare on each of the 5 areas. You'll be able to identify within each area an area that you might specifically want to develop. As part of the course, we recommend this book, Improving Your Emotional Intelligence by Christine Wilding. It's great. It's a super down-to-earth, teach-yourself book. And throughout the program, we encourage you to actually use it to help and guide you. Those are the 15 chapters, and you can see it covers just about everything on emotional intelligence. So really, really good book, and it's part of the program, and it will really help you to develop your emotional intelligence. So how you will improve your self-awareness, just a couple of ideas now. Become fluent in emotions and explore the impact and cause of your emotional struggles. So here's taken from the book Emotional Intelligence 2.0, a really good table that explains the 5 core emotions and what high, medium, and low looks like. So it is a case of actually starting to really understand emotions and putting labels on different things that you feel and that you're seeing other people feel. Always in all of this, think of yourself and then think of others, and start to actually really understand these emotions. I'll give you another list. This is taken from Emotional Intelligence for Dummies, and it's just an alphabetical list of a number of emotions. So decide on the area you want to develop most. So in the example, somebody who has a temper and it has an impact on other people, and start to then look at what is the impact of your emotional dysfunction and what do you think the triggers are. So in this example, where somebody suffers from anger, you start to actually break open and understand what is the impact on the anger. And the reason I suggest that you actually look at the impact, the more you understand how that dysfunction affects you and the people around you, the more inclined you will be to want to actually do something about it. Identify the triggers. These are the triggers that could well set you off. Now, work with a coach, work with your coaching buddy, and go through this particular exercise. At the end of it, once you've understand the triggers, you can start to look for solutions, things that could well work to actually help you to self-regulate. Here's a more detailed one where you might look at a number of EI struggles and look at the impact, and then perhaps look at the cause or trigger that actually would cause you to be like that. It's just a way of saying, stand back, have a look at it, use your learning journal to try and sort of pull together information, work with your coaching buddy to try and identify things that you can actually do once you've identified what the triggers and causes are. Improving your self-regulation, it's really a case of identify your dysfunctional emotions, investigate the triggers that cause the dysfunction, and then experiment with different solutions to manage your emotions. So it's trial and error, work on things, great ideas in the recommended book, and slowly over time, you will improve your emotional intelligence. This is the great part. And the more you improve your emotional intelligence, the better coach you will become. Improving your motivation. And going back to Simon Sinek's golden circle. Why? And I love this quotation. The two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. And it's actually having this real sense of purpose as to what you are about. And if you haven't got it at the moment, work with coach. Find it. Find your cause. And the how is, what are the values and principles that you stand by and will never compromise? And this is where this sort of emotion comes through, the why and the how. And then the what is applying your vision and values to what you do in work and life. And what this is all about with Coaching Help is lighting and relighting your fire. The more you light up your own emotion and light up your motivation, the more it becomes viral and it helps other people around you. It's not a case of faking it, of faking sort of enthusiasm for what you're doing. If you get to your inside and start to feel really good about what you're doing, it will come out. It'll come out in your way. If you're an extrovert, you'll bubble and shout. If you're an introvert, it'll come through your quiet confidence and steely words that might sort of come out. So it's find and light your fire. The other thing about motivation is looking at the possibilities, not what is impossible. It's all about positive thinking. It's thinking about, instead of saying it can't be done, just think of the 3 things you could do that would actually push things forward. The more you start to be positive in your daily, instead of actually looking for all the sort of alibis and the reasons why things are out of your control, think of the way you can bring things under your control. So positive thinking. Improving your empathy. So learn to understand the emotions of others. What do you see? And try putting yourself in the shoes of them to discover why. So, constantly look at the people's emotions. When you're in meetings, just look at their body language, look at their facial features, listen to the words that are coming out of them. Start to pick up on different, if you are not that sensitive to what emotions are all about, this will really help you. But then start to say why. Why is it that they like that? So it's starting to put yourself in their shoes. And the more you understand that, the more you understand what their emotions are, why they feel that, the more you'll be able to respond and be a lot more effective in your communications. Finally, on social skills, just a key thing that I see so often is that maybe people's words are positive and encouraging, but the tonality is not there and the body language is not reinforcing it. The most powerful communicated message is the body language, good eye contact, open posture, smiles. It's not about bashing the table and chucking your arms up in the sky and stuff like that, but it's about being positive and showing it through the way you are. And your voice tone, get the voice tone right. So, in summary, emotional intelligence is quite simply about good communication and people skills. Unlike IQ, you can, over time, improve your emotional intelligence. And your future success and that of your coachees will be strongly influenced by your emotional intelligence and the improvement you put into it. So that's a short introduction to emotional intelligence. And it's really a case of actually use your book and continue to improve it. Thank you.